Hello.
Zach,
What is misanthropy?
misanthropy is like dislike of humans.
Uh,
Basically, yeah.
do you have that?
Pretty often. Yeah, been having a spell.
Who is your favorite human?
That's a ridiculously hard question. I have no idea.
Oh.
Yeah, I definitely don't know.
Do you have a least favorite?
Not really.
Oh.
I wouldn't say I have that precise of a ranking. There's definitely people in the like more than average humans and dislike more than average humans. But they're just kind of groups.
I see.
You're in the generally like more than average humans, I think. How's your app building and all that goodness going?
My what?
Still working on your game or whatever?
No. I did that way too much over the 4 days that I had to do it. And now I haven't touched it for like 2 weeks.
Building an app interface or prototyping an app interface.
Mm-hmm. Like for work or for?
Yeah, for school. But I'm also the one I designed is one that I'll probably go ahead and build myself. So it's cross purpose. Or not really cross purposes, but
What is that for?
It's for ballistics calculations.
Oh, right.
Here, I'll show you if you want.
Okay.
Like this is the home page or the main screen.
Mm-hmm.
You can get your array of targets. So this is like a scenario mock-up where you've already entered in a bunch of targets. You can change their color and stuff, so you kind of know what they look like. And then the little red dot is your calculated aiming point for the targets, based on whatever ballistics info and other factors you enter in.
Does it have the Coriolis effect?
The what?
The one where the Earth like rotates. Is that
yeah,
a thing?
it could be, I suppose, at long enough range, but I think shy of like a missile, I think it's probably not necessary at these ranges.
Haven't you seen Shooter?
Of course, I've seen Shooter.
He talks about it in that.
Yeah,
He's
well,
like,
that was
that's like shoot the president from a mile away.
Yeah.
You got to take into account the Earth's rotation.
If you were trying to pinpoint accuracy at 1,500, 2,000 meters, then yeah, you might need to take that into account. The initial task focus for this app is more on like 3-gun type shooting. So basically, we rarely shoot beyond 600 yards.
So basically, now you're just gonna like rock up at the shooting range and pull out your phone, and then just like smash fucking every single target, and then everyone's like, "How is she doing?"
That would be the theory. Yeah, there's an app that does it, that does the calculations for you, but the way it presents the information is just like in numbers, and it's a really messy interface, and it's like trying to do all the things all at once, and it's horribly designed, but it does function, and I use it, but I have a really hard time remembering what I've done, and like it doesn't store stuff. Like you have to recalculate every time. Like it doesn't save any of your targets or anything, and it's not real good for like fast-paced competition. And you got to type everything in like numbers, and so this is like to enter in a new target. You can change the different types of targets, and size and color, and but you can just like drag and drag stuff around, so it should be really easy and pretty quick to enter in. Do it with one hand.
That's very cool. All right, and now once you finish this, the next thing you need to do is to make it so that like you can enter that into like your rifle scope, and then it like shows you where to aim.
Yeah, that would be. They have some pretty amazing scopes out there, but,
and ones that have like digital things that'll show you stuff, like a screen.
So I shot a scope. They had a demo set up at a match, and it's a digital scope, and it's got, so like one of the cool things was that it transmitted to like an iPad, so you could, somebody standing next to you could be looking at this iPad and seeing what you're seeing through the scope, right?
Yeah.
And then while you're looking through the scope, you had a reticle, and you could tag a target, and you could even tag a moving target. Like they didn't have a moving target for me, but I'd tag a target, and then it would automatically find the range on the target, and then it would create a new crosshair like in your reticle, like and then you just had to like drag the normal crosshair to the new little crosshair.
So it already exists.
Yeah, and it like lit up, and it like, it went from red to like green or something when you lined up on the new crosshair and you pulled the trigger, and it would hit the target.
It makes me sad that already exists.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. But I take a little bit of pride out of it. But the thing is it's not quick. That's the thing is having to tag a target and then adjust your thing. And I know I think it'd be great for, smaller stuff. But for high-speed competition, you're always going to be faster, more or less, computing it in your head and not having to push any buttons. So the point of this app is to like translate it to where you can easily hold it in your head and kind of memorize your holds in the most kind of like the smallest cognitive load possible. So it's like this screen here is trying to do that. So it gives you kind of a view of more or less what you should see, and you'll be able to zoom in and out of your scope to see what it looks like at different magnifications.
Cool.
And then like give little textual. I'm going to try to generate where it generates textual little comments like this, because some people remember that better instead of the visual. Some people are going to have an easier time like holding the visual in their head, and some people are going to have an easier time holding these little like comments in their head or something.
I see.
But I think it's going to be cool. I can see a need for it, and honestly, the thing about it is that most of the work is actually going to go into the interface, because the calculations behind it are essentially just math. So it's not like it has to do any really crazy behind the scenes kind of stuff. I mean, it just has to, it's all mathematical. It has to be accurate, but programming mathematical stuff is pretty easy.
That's cool.
I think I'm gonna, like I said, I picked this to design for a class, and then I'm gonna continue designing it. And I think I've got all these nice hi-fi mock-ups. So I think I'm gonna try the whole like Kickstarter route. See how that goes. People are always doing that. I'm like, I should try that.
It's a very good idea.
And the thing is I know a lot of the people that I would be marketing it to, so I've already got kind of a. I don't have to go very far to get into the market group. But then I could see expanding it to secondary market groups, or even building secondary apps based on the same thing. I haven't decided if I want them all, build them all in the same app, or if you should have different apps. So like this app is for like 3-gun, mid-range, high-speed competition. All right, here's a similar app, but it's more for like long-distance precision type competition. And
you have to pay for both.
Right, and you have to pay for both. And then here's an app that's more for, and it just would keep the internal app simpler. because otherwise you're going to have so many options and extra screens and just complexity that people who don't want to use it for multiple reasons are going to they might get lost in some of the options and things that work for other disciplines.
Yeah.
Or like do one for archery or, different things.
Yeah.
I don't know. Punkin Chunkin. I can build a Punkin Chunkin app. I don't know. I think it's worth pursuing, though. Nobody else seems to be doing it, which sometimes that's the best thing.
Yeah, well, if no one's doing it, then go for it.
Yeah, like I said, there's this one app that everybody uses, and it's really bad. Like it's functional, but the interface design is atrocious.
Yeah.
And in a controlled situation, that's not bad. But considering the situation we use it in a lot, or at least I do, is the high-speed competitive kind of outdoor. You got a lot of other stuff on your mind. It's a really bad interface for that.
Yeah.
It's not quick and it's complicated and it doesn't store things for you.
Yeah, if there's something that's already out there, like even if something's already been made but it's crap, there's still you can still capitalize on it by making it better.
Well, I don't know. It almost might be easier because if it's out there and so people are like, well, I'm used to having this available to me. I like the ability to get this information. But so they're used to using something, so you don't have to convince them to use an application for this.
Yeah.
But if everybody's using this crap, then you can just be like, you already do this, but here's a much more awesome way to do it. And everybody be like, yeah. So you only have to do one thing instead of two things. You don't have to convince them that they need the app. You just have to convince them that this app is better. So. But yeah, I'm having to write this ended up being so I did an individual iteration myself, and then but there's a group project for the class, and the group project is to do a second iteration on somebody else of one of the the individual designs, and everybody picked mine kind of unanimously because it was more awesome. But it also means that we're having to write this long collaborative paper, which is always a
No.
Literally the whole team project I could have done myself in, I don't know, a day. Writing 6 hours of actual work probably, and then, and then a few days of just waiting for results to come in and a few things. Tops, it would have taken me a day of work. But with teammates, it takes forever because you're always waiting on them and explaining things to them and then fixing things because they don't know what you're talking about. I'm not a big team player when it comes to stuff like this.
So do you how do you break up the different stuff that everyone has to do?
Depends. I try to find stuff that's pretty self-contained to assign to other people. So for this particular thing, there was one of the parts of the cycle was more or less what we call a need finding analysis phase, where you more or less built and sent out surveys to people trying to figure out what they need in the task in the app and what preferences, would you prefer if you had to enter in numbers this way or that way, things, and kind of getting a handle on that. And so that's kind of self-contained. It doesn't require a lot of expertise in the area. So I assigned that. That was kind of the big project for one team member. And then there's kind of a similar thing in the evaluation phase where it's after you've redesigned and mocked up stuff based on that initial need finding survey, you show it to people and see if they get it. Instead of asking them what they need, you just show them what you have and go and see if it seems to work for them, if they seem to understand it. And so I gave that one to another guy. And then I did most of the rest of it. There's still a conclusion to write, but that's always easy enough. And I'm good at since it's a paper, I'm good at writing whatever for however long at whatever time of the morning. This whole class, like my individual papers, I usually wrote them at like 2 a.m. the morning they were due.
Espresso martini fueled 2 a.m. paper.
I haven't even had to pull in the vodka, usually just the espresso. Today I went and sat in the pub for like 4 hours to like try to get some of this done. But just because sometimes it helps me to go like where it's noisy, and so I go to town. There no coffee shops open today, only the pub. So I went and sat there and drank beer for the. Drinking beer sometimes when it gets down to like TE and stuff, it's like that sometimes helps. You're like, all right, let me kind of dull my senses so I'm not carrying as much, and I'll do this TE stuff. And then one of my teammates is in Sweden, so she's probably just about to wake up and start working on it again. And it's not that I don't trust people, but I don't trust people, so I'm kind of waiting to watch and see make sure she finishes her part to a satisfactory degree. I'm going to be up for a few hours waiting on that. But eventually I may just give up on it too, because once I get to good enough, I don't actually have to get a super awesome grade on this to still get an A in the class. So means I can leave it in a reasonable state.
Hello.
Hello, Blanky.
It's Courtney.
So yeah, the other room's full. Who's in here?
Hey, people.
Is that Audra?
That's me.
So how's it going?
I'm over here too.
Yeah, the other room got a little bit too crowded. Couldn't get back in there.
Yeah, I told him, I was like, that was a dick move. You're in the middle of talking and then just start a video.
I was like, no. And I was like, fuck this. You guys are fucking playing around again. It's so stupid. I'm just gonna fucking move on, do my own shit now, and I'm just fucking fed up. I'll get people from real life now.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, I mean, like, there's so much potential that can happen with like Audra, freaking Lightbulb, a few other people. If you just get them together and just bang it out, like, okay, here, I need this information, blah blah blah. Let's transfer it over, work out a program and stuff like that. And everything's going IT now anyway, so you can basically do the majority of the work off site. But that's why I was saying you can get sent to your house or your location to go work with your family and stuff, and we'll feed you like packets of work information that you can do off away from the hub or the location. And yeah, regarding those locations, it would be all around the fucking globe in like 10 years' time. And it's just working together as a team and trying to get shit done. I mean, you could go visit wherever you want after you build up enough credit and what's it called with the company or the corporation, and it'll go from there.
So you're thinking about trying to see what Audra thought about it?
Yeah, well, she kind of has a plan of it as well. Well, like I think you said last time, I was speaking to Audra. I don't know if you heard that conversation. Didn't hear that conversation. What were you guys talking about?
Oh no, I was asking if you had talked to Audra about any of these things.
No, but I've been listening to her speak.
Mm-hmm.
And she kind of knows her shit, and she kind of doesn't want to bang her head against the wall for like working at the university for what 20 more years. She's looking for a change. And
a bunch of people when they bring that up, and I'm like, oh, you can retire there. I'm like, no.
Have you ever seen the movie American Beauty?
I don't think so.
Well, you just kind of get to a point where like you've worked out the system, and it's like so repetitive, so fucking thing, and you're just trying to beat and catch up to the Joneses, and I have this shit, I have that shit. It's like instead of just working out, and like there's a certain point in your life that you get to that you say fuck it. Is it really important, or is it more important to do something that's going to be worth your value, or to look back in like 10, 20 years time?
Kind of reminds me of the plot of American Psycho. Which is an apt film for most occasions.
Well, let me put it this way. Like, I think 2008 or whenever I helped construct a building. That I saw the building go from a low level all the way to the high rise that it became up into. Now I can always say, hey, you know what? I remember working there, and I built that fucking building. My employer is going to build another building in the Boston area. Like, I have a whole bunch of options that I can do or go anywhere I want. So it's not technically that I was going to do it for my my benefit, but it was supposed to benefit some other people in the meantime while we work together. And yeah, of course, it was going to be free for you, not free for everybody else, because you were going to be the person that was going to be taking care of the location. So that's why you're going to offset some of the fees to be able to attend the university or do whatever the hell else you wanted out there. But the whole deal is to try to get something kind of worked out where, I don't know, I don't think we should be doing it on this fucking platform anyways. You want to go to a different room? Go to Intuition Exploration.
In GTM?
No, this thing up here. Just type intuition exploration. It's one of my rooms.
Oh, okay. I will be back at some point. Nope.